high you can fly with the Civil Air Patrol.
20 students spread their wings and learned to fly. ABC 10's Keweenaw Bureau reporter Rick Allen has the story.
Flight training during this week's summer youth program at Michigan Tech taught the basics of flying an airplane to 18 international students and 3 from the United States. The international students are from South Korea, part of a group of 102 students from that country to take part in the summer programs this year. Instructors are members of the Civil Air Patrol who are thrilled to share their experience and expertise.
It is so nice to see those light bulbs go off. They say, I got it. I understand what you just told me. And for them to be able to fly this simulator after just having had 2 days of classes is awesome.
Most of these students are getting their first flying lesson.
How a plane works and how to fly a plane and all the different tools to use and to make a successful flight.
But now it's time to put down the simulator and go up in the real thing. The instructor guides the student through takeoff, and once up in the air, he hands the controls over.
It went good. He said that I was a natural, and I didn't believe him, but I just tried my hardest as I would in the simulator, and it turned out to be good.
It's an experience that is absolutely breathtaking.
Exhilarated. If I had to put one word on it, it was just made me feel like I accomplished something.
For ABC 10 CW5 News Now, I'm Keweenaw Bureau reporter Rick Allen.
Cadets from the Civil Air Patrol had a lot to take in today's show.
Yeah, most of them have military aspirations, and as Fox 4's Carrie Wickersham reports, recruiters love the fact that the kids are being groomed for service so early.
We're looking for the most technologically advanced students, the most dedicated, the hardest working, that want a career. One more.
Recruiters don't have to look very far for the future of American military brain power.
Pretty cool. Yes, sir. I'd agree.
Civil Air Patrol cadets Serena Armenta and Mark Fritchie are only 15 and 16 years old. And already right for the job.
I want to be a pilot in the Air Force. I just think that there's nothing like it, and it's a hard position to achieve. It's one of the hardest to do in the Air Force, and that's something I want to try for.
I love doing it because I know that I'm keeping people safe, and it's just what I want to do.
That's a Cessna 172, if I'm not mistaken, straight ahead. That's one of the planes we actually fly.
These cadets spent the day surrounded by what they already love.
Look at how short the wings are compared to the body.
As aerial acrobats spin and dive above them, Serena and Mark jump in an Apache simulator and enjoy their ride.
Blair.
Oh, they're the best. You don't see a lot of sharp young people that are extremely well disciplined, and these kids are just that, and they're our future leaders here. They're going to be the best of the best.
Carrie Wickersham, Fox 4 News, working for you from the downtown airport.
Civil Air Patrol is an auxiliary of the Air Force. Kids volunteer for the program as early as age 12. Serena and Mark are a part of a group that is camping out at the airport this weekend to help out folks with the
take on another story we've been following about a missing 81-year-old man with dementia. Here's Fox 40's Molly Darrow with the report. Molly.
Frank Alfred Churchman has been missing since August 14th. Last seen in the hamlet of Cincinnatus, not only are his family members concerned, but Fox 40 viewers have expressed their concern as well. One group searching for him is the Civil Air Patrol Squadron 292. This local group helps the community through rescue missions. We asked its captain how they have handled these search and rescue operations in the past.
You have to keep in mind that they're not going to answer you. Chances are whoever you're looking for is probably unconscious. And so even if you're hollering their name or making all kinds of noise, that they're not going to respond. So you have to look under every rock and behind every tree and mark your path.
Though the Civil Air Patrol and others are on the mission, please contact authorities if you have information on Churchman at 607-561-7400. Back to you.
Hi, I'm astronaut Eric Bowe. When you pack for space, you prioritize, but you also find yourself bringing something special. I brought my Civil Air Patrol award on the Space Shuttle Endeavour. In the Civil Air Patrol, I flew solo for the first time, and I learned aviation history and leadership skills. Challenge yourself, do what you love, see where flight takes you.
You mentioned your flying experience with the reserves and with the Mississippi National Guard. And You're a pilot. What is it you like about piloting an airplane?
Well, there's nothing I don't like about piloting an airplane. It's a freedom that those that do fly understand. If I'm not working here or down in the district, I'm usually up in the clouds flying, and do fly for the Civil Air Patrol, fly for the Coast Guard Auxiliary. So, you know, I get to use my skills in a good way, and I just enjoy it. It's a passion.
These dedicated young people are tomorrow's aerospace leaders and today's cadets in the Civil Air Patrol, the auxiliary of the U.S. Air Force. In CAP, you'll learn to lead and push yourself to new limits. You'll get in shape, hiking and camping, and even have the chance to learn to fly. Become a vital part of the CAP search and rescue missions, saving an average of 70 lives each year. You'll develop character as you honor and serve America. Visit capmembers.com.
They were civilian volunteers during World War II flying dangerous missions with the Civil Air Patrol. One of those pilots from here in the Black Hills was honored for his service today. South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds presented a Congressional Gold Medal to the late Vernon Jeffries of Rapid City. Vernon's son says the honor bestowed today was long overdue for both his father and other Civil Air Patrol pilots.
For many years, the Civil Air Patrol pilots of World War II, the whole air crew, the whole operation during World War II was kind of buried in history. When it was happening, many people knew about it. After the war, many people forgot.
Vernon Jeffries flew small single-engine fabric-covered aircraft off the coast of New Jersey during the war, trying to spot German U-boats.
Hi, I'm Mary Fike. I overhauled my first engine when I was 13 years old. I trained pilots in World War II and worked as an aviation engineer for more than 50 years. But the greatest honor in my life is the Civil Air Patrol Achievement Award created in my name. And I'm proud because Amelia Earhart's the other lady that's so honored. You can do anything if you set your mind to. Choose something different. See where flight takes you. Join the Civil Air Patrol.
This is an incredible story. She survived a plane crash, tried to save her grandparents from the wreckage, and made a 2-day trek through the rugged northern Cascades to find help. Now her harrowing tale could be just what rescuers need to find that missing aircraft. 16-year-old Autumn Veach and her grandparents were flying from Montana to Washington State on Saturday when their small plane ran into trouble. The teenager told police that they crashed into a mountain and she couldn't free her grandparents from the wreckage. 2 days later, she managed to make her way out of the wilderness by following a stream, finally reaching a highway and flagging down a passing driver for help. The local sheriff calls it a miracle.
And it gets cold up there at night. I mean, you're pretty high elevation, so she survived not only the crash, then going through that. I'll just tell you this, from all of us here, we're just impressed with her. She's kind of like a superhero.
Veach's father says his daughter is going to need time to recover.
So these people were really playing the part of grandparents to her, and that's hitting her really hard. She's had to deal with a lot of loss. I believe in God, and I've seen stuff like this happen several times. There's no way I cannot believe in God.
And joining me now is Lieutenant Jessica Jurwa. She's the Public Information Officer for the Washington Wing of the Civil Air Patrol. Thanks for being here with us, Jessica.
Thanks for having me.
So you were one of the first people, or you were actually the one to tell Autumn's father that she was alive. I imagine that was an incredibly emotional moment. What was that like?
It was incredible for me to be able to give that information. I have a 16-year-old son myself, so being able to call him, he was actually taking a nap at the time, so I was just like, we have to wake him up, please get him on the phone. So he was still a little sleepy when I told him that Autumn walked out and that she was safe, and he just sort of paused for a moment, took a moment, and then just went, what? So I repeated it, and of course at that point gave instructions to call and get on the phone, just believe it.
I imagine he was just in shock and There was so much happiness there, but also bittersweet because the grandparents are still have not been found. I want to listen to Autumn's 911 call after she made it off that mountain. Take a listen.
So tell me exactly what happened.
I was riding from Kalispell, Montana to Bellingham, Washington, and about, well, I don't know where, but we crashed, and I was the only one that made it out.
Okay. Made it out from the collision or survived?
Yeah, the only one that survived.
Okay. Are you injured at all?
Yeah, I have a lot of burns on my hands, and I'm like kind of covered in bruises and scratches and stuff.
Amazing how calm she is in that 911 call after what she just went through. How is Autumn doing now?
I hear that she's doing well. I believe they're supposed to be coming home maybe later today. I've been in contact pretty regularly with a friend of the family.
So if you would bring us up to speed on the search for this aircraft, are rescuers still hoping to find grandparents alive? And I imagine Autumn's story is helping with this search.
It definitely is. Our cellular forensics and radar analysis team was able to give us a pretty good, tight location to start searching in. So our aircraft were in the area when she actually walked out. Her information was able to help us narrow it down even further. At that point, a fixed-wing aircraft, having a lot of them in the air at the same place at the same time, is not useful, and especially given the terrain. At that point, it was much better to bring in naval aircraft. They helped with the search yesterday evening, and then this morning it's been picked up again. We have a couple of Civil Air Patrol planes flying, as well as the Snohomish County Sheriff is sending out a helicopter.
And we heard Jessica on that 911 call. She said that she believes she was the only survivor. Is there any hope for the grandparents at this point?
You know, at this point, we don't have confirmation one way or the other. We know what she said, but our hope is to get out and just assess the situation once we're out there and find out for sure.
Okay, Jessica Jorwa, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And up.
Now, you've heard of the Civil Air Patrol, of course. The Civil Air Patrol, the CAP, Vigilant Civilian Volunteers.
With the largest fleet of single-engine planes at their disposal, these patriotic patrols are now playing a key role in protecting the homeland.
The point is, World War II could have turned out a lot differently if not for the men and women of the Civil Air Patrol.
60,000 volunteers across the country who man the Civil Air Patrol's missions and performing 85% of all inland search and rescue operations.
When Katrina hit, the Civil Air Patrol was there. Sandy, too. And the Civil Air Patrol was on the scene when terrorists attacked our country on 9/11.
We save lives and we save resources. We are the experienced and we are the future. For 75 years, we have volunteered to serve our communities, our states, and our nation as the auxiliary of the United States Air Force. We will continue to do so with honor. We are the Civil Air Patrol.
Many of us all have our favorite 4th of July traditions, whether it's grilling out, watching the fireworks, or just spending time with family. But this year, many people are changing up their normal traditions to be a part of this year's Chippewa Valley Air Show.
It's wonderful. It brings back a lot of memories from when my father talked about these airplanes.
And the crowds are at an all-time high this year, reaching about 30,000 people, which is good for people trying to show their planes like this float plane here.
We flew into Merrill to visit with a friend, and he mentioned that Eau Claire was having the Blue Angels at their air show, that we should head down. When we got here, they asked if we wanted to display the plane, so we brought it in here to show off.
Lieutenant Pete Hestigan of the Eau Claire Civil Air Patrol says he uses his plane as a way to recruit people for the Civil Air Patrol and even the Air Force.
Currently, it's predicted that in the near future, there's going to be a great shortage of pilots, and as well as just technologically savvy, mathematical, engineering, the STEM. Being part of this air show is, to me, a big deal.
And many people who came out to this weekend's event say they appreciate having the chance to experience an airplane close up.
I think this is really great that the Eau Claire will let them put this on for everyone that is interested in airplanes. It's a wonderful experience.
We are still a great nation. This emphasizes it, and to be here on the 4th of July of all days, I mean, this is just fantastic.
In Eau Claire, Noelle Anderson, WEAU 13 News.
While talking about disasters and emergencies isn't a pleasant topic, the local Civil Air Patrol put in extra time to be prepared for when the unthinkable happens. WFFT's Brooke Welch was in Huntington today and has more.
When people go missing from floods, tornadoes, or any type of disaster strikes, the Civil Air Patrol is instrumental in helping find the missing victims.
When you're out there, I mean, you could be out there for 2-3 days. A lot of times we'll actually sleep in the van.
John Dietrich with the Civil Air Patrol says that during searches, a team can put in 600 to 800 miles a day. Actual training to prepare for downed aircraft, disaster relief, and exercises make practices like today very intense.
I like the saying, chance favors a prepared mind. And that's really what it's about, right? The more prepared you are, the less things that are going to confuse you.
Indiana Wing Public Affairs Officer Bill Vendramin says when disaster strikes, confusion is bound to occur.
There's a point where things are going to get confusing, right? And the more you could have under your belt saying, okay, I have this, right? Then you're going to minimize those areas of confusion, and you could deal on the ones that really are bigger issues to deal with.
Emergency Management Agency Director Lindsay Goss says this is the first collaboration between her office and the United States Air Force and the Civil Air Patrol.
So we know what capabilities, what resources each entity has, how we can work together to give each other the necessary information to get the job done.
Dietrich says when a missing person is found, it's the reaction of the family members that make the whole process worthwhile.
It really helps, the morale of what we do, and it just inspires us to actually keep doing more and doing our best.
If you are interested in helping with the rescue effort and joining the Civil Air Patrol, we have more information on our website, fortwaynehomepage.net. From the Huntington Municipal Airport, Brooke Welch, WFFT Local News, first at 10.
The Civil Air Patrol is looking for teachers to teach aerospace. The Civil Air Patrol is the Air Force auxiliary that provides emergency services, aerospace education, and cadet programs. Volunteer to teach aerospace for the Civil Air Patrol at www.gocivilairpatrol.com.
In Oshkosh, a special treat for members of the Civil Air Patrol. The group of 200 took a photo in front of the historic B-52 bomber. More than 450 cadets try out for this program, which includes volunteering at EAA. Just 200 are chosen. Civil Air Patrol members say being at AirVenture is a great way to engage in hands-on learning.
It's one thing to see airplanes in a book or watch a video about it, but to have this hands-on learning experience, marshaling aircraft, working with the warbirds, searching for the ELT, the emergency locator transmitter beacons on the aircraft. It's a treat for us.
This group of volunteers includes people from 44 different states.
All right. And new at 6, a Western New York native has been honored with the highest civilian award given by Congress. Brian Higgins presented the Congressional Gold Medal to the family of Alfred Corbin. Corbin served in the Civil Air Patrol during World War II. As News 4's Nalina Shapiro reports, he tried several times to enlist in the armed forces. Nalina?
Well, Jackie, Mr. Corbin was an iron worker for 30 years. He had a strong desire to join the fight, but was one of many skilled workers who were forbidden from enlisting in the armed forces because his skills were valued so much here at home. But after his third attempt at joining the Army failed, Corbin was escorted home and advised to join the Civil Air Patrol. During World War II, more than 100,000 men and women served in the Civil Air Patrol. Their motto was always vigilant, and today Corbin was honored with the highest civilian award given by Congress, the Congressional Gold Medal. The medal was presented to his family. Corbin died after serving his country and home in 1979. Corbin's mission was to protect our coastal areas from the enemy.
Others receiving this medal include, but are not limited to, George Washington in 1776, Rosa Parks in 1999, Pope John Paul II in 2000.
My dad was part of the greater generation, the Flying Minutemen. This was something that he felt he had to do, and he did it.
And that's his son, Paul. He said if his father was here today, he would have been chuffed or very pleased with this honor. Jackie, back to you.
Absolutely.
A week-long Air Force evaluation is over in Hartford. Volunteer members of the Connecticut wing of the Civil Air Patrol have been performing missions to test their emergency services qualifications on a statewide level. The group is being evaluated on their ability to respond to search and rescue calls, disaster relief, and other emergency situations.
One of the technologies that we're really pushing on is aerial photography, to be able to provide good quality photography. The state agencies, and so during a natural disaster, they have that information so they can make decisions and they can deploy assets to help our residents in Connecticut.
This evaluation took place at Brainerd Airport in Hartford.